Help me, please. Help me. Help me.
Imagine being lost at sea for over a year, battling starvation and the unforgiving waves. Picture yourself surviving a brutal plane crash, or worse, being trapped in total darkness with freezing water rising around you for nearly 3 days, surviving on nothing but the air in a tiny pocket. These people defied death in ways most of us can't even fathom. Their will to live pushed them beyond human limits. This is People Who Survived the Unsurvivable Things, Part 2. What if the ocean decided you'd never see land again? On November 17, 2012, Salvador Alvarenga, a battle-hardened Salvadoran fisherman working off Mexico's coast, embarked on a routine one-day shark hunt. With him was Ezequiel Cordoba, a teenage crewmate eager for his first deep-sea payday. The Pacific had other plans. A storm hammered their 24-foot fiberglass boat, killing the engine and radio. Adrift without sails or hope of rescue, they faced a nightmare. 438 days of raw survival. Ezequiel cracked first. He refused to eat the raw fish, birds, and turtles Alvarenga caught with his hands. When the boy starved to death 4 months in, Alvarenga clung to his corpse for days, talking to it until madness forced him to let go. Alone, Alvarenga became a predator. He drank rainwater, turtle blood, and his own urine. He ate seagull brains and chewed shark skin. The sun scorched his skin. Isolation warped his mind. Yet he inched westward, 6,500 miles across the void, until January 30th, 2014, when he collapsed onto Ibon Atoll, naked, bearded, and screaming in Spanish. Doctors called it a hoax. No one survives a year at sea, they said. But the evidence was undeniable. Salt-ravaged organs, vitamin-depleted blood, and a boat traced back to Mexico. Alvarenga didn't just survive. He rewrote the limits of human endurance, proving even the deadliest ocean bows to sheer will. Imagine plunging into the ocean, surrounded by darkness with no one left but you. On June 30th, 2009, 12-year-old Bahia Bakari was flying with her mother from Paris to the Comoros Islands when Yemenia Flight 626 suddenly crashed into the Indian Ocean. The plane, carrying 153 people, was torn apart on impact. Bahia was the only survivor. Thrown into the violent sea without a life jacket, she clung to floating debris, battling exhaustion, injuries, and the relentless waves for over 13 hours. With minimal swimming skills, she refused to let go. Alone in the vast ocean, she heard distant voices but saw nothing, just endless water and darkness. Initially, she thought she had simply fallen out of the plane, unaware of the true horror. When rescuers finally found her, they were in shock. A 12-year-old girl had survived a plane crash and an entire night at sea. Dubbed La Miraculée, the miracle girl, Bahia defied death where 152 others had perished. Her story is not just about survival, it's about sheer, unimaginable resilience. What happens when the human body collides with one of the most powerful forces in physics? In 1978, Soviet scientist Anatoly Bugorsky was inspecting a malfunction at the U-70 particle accelerator when disaster struck. Unaware that the machine was still active due to failed safety mechanisms, he accidentally leaned into its proton beam, which carried an energy of 76 billion electron volts, far beyond any medical proton therapy beam. The beam entered through the back of his head and exited near his nose, traveling straight through his brain. As it passed, Bugorsky saw a flash brighter than 1,000 suns, but felt no pain. Experts believed the exposure was fatal. No one had ever survived such radiation levels. His face swelled grotesquely, his skin burned from the inside, and yet, he lived. Over time, the left side of his face became paralyzed, and he lost hearing in one ear. He also experienced seizures and increased mental fatigue, but miraculously his brain function remained intact, and he continued working in physics for decades. Anatoly Bugorsky should have died that day. Instead, he became a walking experiment, a man who survived what should have been instant obliteration. Surviving the Titanic is one thing. Becoming a tennis legend afterward? Unbelievable. In April 1912, Richard Dick Norris Williams was just 21, sailing to America on the RMS Titanic with his father. When the ship struck an iceberg, chaos erupted. Trapped below deck, Dick kicked down a locked door to escape, an act that likely saved his life. But tragedy struck when his father was crushed by a collapsing smokestack before his eyes. Thrown into the freezing Atlantic, Dick clung to a lifeboat for hours until rescuers pulled him onto the Carpathia. By then, his legs were so frozen that doctors wanted to amputate them, but he refused. He had a future in tennis. Not only did he recover, but he went on to win 2 U.S. championships, a Wimbledon doubles title, and Olympic gold in mixed doubles. He also captained several winning Davis Cup teams and served with distinction in World War I. From near death in the Atlantic to tennis legend, Dick Williams proved that some people are simply unstoppable. How much suffering can one man endure before he breaks? Louis Zampirini was an Olympic runner, a World War II airman, and a survivor of the impossible. In 1943, his plane crashed into the Pacific, leaving him adrift for 47 days on a life raft with 2 companions, Russell Phillips and Francis McNamara. With no food or water, they relied on rainwater, raw fish, and seabirds to survive, fighting off sharks and enduring the scorching sun. After McNamara's tragic death, Zampirini and Phillips continued their ordeal until they reached the Marshall Islands. But the nightmare wasn't over. Captured by the Japanese, Zampirini was imprisoned and brutally tortured for 2 years in POW camps, including the infamous Kwajalein. He was beaten, starved, and singled out for abuse by the notorious Mutsuhiro Watanabe. Yet, he never gave up. After the war, haunted by trauma, Louis found redemption through forgiveness, even meeting his former captors. His story, immortalized in Unbroken, is a testament to resilience, survival, and the power of the human spirit. Imagine waking up to find yourself trapped in total darkness, 100 feet underwater, with no way out. On May 23 or 26, 2013, Harrison O'Keefe, a Nigerian cook, was aboard a tugboat when it capsized off the coast of Nigeria. As the vessel sank to the ocean floor, everyone else drowned. But by a miracle, Harrison found an air pocket inside the wreck. Initially in the bathroom, O'Keefe managed to grope his way into another room, where he fashioned a makeshift platform to stay above the freezing water. For 3 days, he sat in his tiny bubble, breathing the last oxygen, with no food or fresh water. His only solace was prayer. The pressure alone should have killed him, but he held on, waiting, hoping. Then, on the brink of death, divers arrived, not to rescue, but to recover bodies. When one reached inside the wreck, Harrison grabbed his arm, and the world learned of the man who survived the unsurvivable. From the depths of the Atlantic, Harrison O'Keefe emerged a living miracle, the man who refused to drown. Some men survived the unsurvivable, but Alister Urk did it 3 times. At 19, he was conscripted into the British Army and later sent to Singapore, where he was captured in February 1942 when the city fell to the Japanese. He became a prisoner of war enduring slave labor on the infamous Death Railway, where thousands perished from exhaustion and disease. But Urquhart didn't break. Then came Hellship Number 1, packed into the cargo hold of the Kachidoki Maru with hundreds of dying men. He was being transported to Japan when an American torpedo sank the ship. Clinging to wreckage in shark-infested waters, he drifted for 5 days before being captured, again. After his rescue, he was sent to work in coal mines and later to a labor camp near Nagasaki. Sent to Nagasaki, he was forced into labor until August 9, 1945. That's when the atomic bomb dropped, blowing him off his feet. Somehow he survived. After years of silence, Urquhart told his story in The Forgotten Highlander, a testament to unimaginable endurance and the will to survive. The human spirit is capable of enduring the unimaginable, from the vast, merciless ocean to the wreckage of a downed plane and the crushing darkness of a submerged tomb. These survivors proved that sometimes the impossible is possible. Their stories are more than just tales of luck. They are a testament to resilience, instinct, and sheer willpower. Which of these stories shocked you the most? And if you were in their place, do you think you'd have what it takes to survive? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories of survival against all odds. Until next time, stay safe and never underestimate the power of the human will.